3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Here we are, a little bit about us. This is, Red River. This is Red River Real Talk, where we talk about the real things that are going on in the auto industry. Sometimes we get off in the political side of things, but we try not to. I try to reel myself back in. Sometimes one time I even started talking about some medical stuff, but YouTube kicked us off. So I'm going to try to refrain from that. Today, what we have here is Tracy Holder with us. Tracy is our shop foreman at one of our stores right here in Cabot, Arkansas, Red River Auto Group. He does a great job. We're going to talk a little bit about technician stuff and how hard it is to hire technicians. We're going to talk about how hard it is to keep customers happy, how hard it is to keep the manufacturer happy, and just the struggles, everyday life struggles. But today, Tracy, why don't you tell us a little bit about fishing? What's going on in the fishing world?
I just don't get to do enough of it right now.
Yeah.
Work's so busy, but yeah, the fish are biting and moving up.
Yeah.
It's time to go fishing.
You're going to fish a tournament this weekend?
Yes, sir. Down at Dumas.
Yeah. And you think you're going to win?
Oh, yeah.
How many people will be in that tournament?
I'll be 20 to 30 teams. Sherwood Bass Club.
Do you fish by yourself or you have a partner?
No, I got a partner.
Okay. Who's your partner on that?
Joey Cordy.
Okay. Is he pretty good?
Yeah, he's pretty
You
good.
wouldn't have him, huh?
Yeah, he's good in that, man.
I tell you all the time, I've told you before, the only place I ever think about going fishing on a lake is the Heber Springs, Greers Ferry, and I'd never catch any fish. I'm terrible at fishing, which is why I'm in the car business, I guess, because I couldn't do it for a living, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I can't either. So.
Yeah. Across the board, I mean, I know, and I talk to the other guys in the car business, there's a technician shortage out there. You seeing that?
Big time. Yep. Hard to find them, hard to keep them.
What's the problem? What do you think it is?
I don't know if there's just one problem. It's just multiple problems trying to keep them paid, turning hours, fighting the clock.
Tell me about that. So I've been in the car business for 18 years. I've been in the car business well over 20 years. My bad. I've been in the new car business for 18 years where we actually had a shop where I had to start hiring technicians. And when I first came in, there was two guys. I bought a small store, and there's a service manager who's also the parts guy and the shop foreman and a mechanic. And then I had a mechanic. So there's only two guys in that whole store. Both of them were paid a salary. Like, here's how much you made. And I'll never forget, one of them was making $800 a week, one was making $600 a week. I was like, how in the world am I going to be able to afford this? The guy making $800 a week was the service manager, parts manager, shop foreman, and technician, right? So you can only imagine what he had to go through. He had and he was also the service advisor. So, and I remember getting mad at him one day. He had a stack of tickets that he hadn't closed, but when did he have time to close them? But I was a young 25-year-old guy. I had no idea. But so then I started researching how to hire people, and you hire them based on commission. So they get paid for the hour they turn. Right. And I guess that's how it's been done for as long as I can remember. What about you?
As long as I've been in the business, it's been commission. And you have warranty rate and you have customer pay rate, which is different. Mm-hmm. And the manufacturer sets a rate that's most time it's not obtainable.
Yeah.
So the technician's too worried about beating the clock to make a check.
Right. Yeah. So that's what their whole goal is. So the warranty may pay 2 hours, but it might take the technician 2.5 hours or 3 hours to do it. And what the warranty is based off of is if they have a guy sitting in their place in Detroit, said, here's what needs to be changed, change it, and everything works perfect. And that guy's probably done it.
No broken bolts, no rust.
Yeah,
nothing.
And he's probably done 25 of them in a row.
Right.
And that's what they're paying off of. And our guys are actually, we got to check a car in, roll it in, get it in the shop, diag it, which we have a hard time getting paid our diag time, right?
Yeah, sure do. Yeah. You see it. I mean, Ford, nickels and dimes this every time we do a ticket. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, they do. They pick it apart. So if you're a consumer out there listening, the way it works is you bring your car in, we diagnose it, and then hopefully, if it's a simple repair, we just go ahead and fix it at the parts here, which chances are right now in the last 2 years, they're not, right, Tracy? Right. You can't get a part. And then we roll you on your way, you sign the ticket, and then we send it to Ford and hope they pay us.
Hope they pay us.
Hope they pay us.
Yeah.
And so when
most time they'll pay us something, they just won't pay us what we need.
Right. And then at that point, you're like, well, do I fight for that half hour or do I just move on? And most of the time, we move on because we're in the consumer business.
Right.
We just want to make sure the consumer's happy. There's no way I'm going to call that customer back.
Well, and Ford's going to penalize you if you don't have them closed in so many days. So you got to push it on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They talked about trying to go direct sell. I don't know if they ever went to direct sell to consumers, they'd still expect us to take care of the consumers' cars because, basically most of the time we're trying to take care of our customers that bought from us. We'll take care of everyone else too, but before I lose money on somebody that bought somewhere else, which we have, we put a motor in a vehicle last year, if you remember, or was it a transmission for a guy that's coming from out of town, command something, coming from out of town. We did what the engineer online told us to do.
Never got paid for it.
Ford never paid us $8,800.
Right.
Ford's engineer said, do this. We did that, and they found some little loophole. Yeah. They said, well, just because the engineer told you doesn't mean the guy above him told you to.
Right.
Well, what's the point of even calling the engineer?
I mean, this is one of the things the techs do, but the engineers don't have any say-so on the warranty part. It's when it comes down to it.
Yeah, right. So if you had it in a perfect world to start over, now that you know what you know now, and you had no technicians and you want to hire all new technicians, would you pay different?
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you do it?
I don't know. I mean, it's a tough decision because if you pay somebody a salary, they might just come in there and milk the clock and not perform. So commission's set up to make people move and do more work to get more money. Mm-hmm. So it's a fine balance on finding the right people that could work under salary, where a commission guy could actually make more money on commission, but you got to find a guy that's not going to just ride the clock.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say how you would. But what other industry can you go and work 50 hours a week and bring home a 20-hour check?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, but when you were a tech, you were working 45 hours a week, bringing home a 60, 70-hour check.
Yeah, I mean, a good tech can turn 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
The work's out there now. But the good techs have either moved on out of the business, retired. It's hard to find the young guys to come in and work the same way.
Mm-hmm. That's probably like NBA, like going to the NBA. It's 1% of the people out there that can actually do that, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's even harder. Even if you're back in it today, it'd be even harder because of lack of parts.
Lack of parts. Yeah, the price of tools has doubled probably in the last 10 years.
Yeah, there's another thing. So, new tech. Sorry, I didn't mean to smack. I burped. You can edit that out. Let me get a drink of my coffee. New technicians are expected to come on and then go and then start buying their own tools.
Right.
And that's
if anybody knows how much tools are, what other industry do you go, say, just take a service writer. Yep. He can make as much or more money as a tech, and all he has to invest in is a pen.
That's right. And then
where a tech has to have $100,000 worth of tools.
Yeah.
And has to keep them up. I've been in the business 32 years, and I'm still buying tools.
Yeah.
You never have everything you need because they'll redesign a car with a new bolt, a new nut, or something. You're always buying tools.
Yeah. And of course, probably the reason they do that is because it's hard for a shop to buy the tools because they get lost.
Right.
If you buy your own tool, you're going to invest in, well, hopefully you're going to take a little better care of it. But, the shop, so you probably got a couple $100,000 worth of tools.
Right.
But if the shop had that, it would probably be $50,000 worth, right? So
those saying if you don't pay for it, you don't take care of it is true,
Yeah.
But luckily, you started that program with our techs where they get a tool bonus, so that's going to help them.
Right. Yeah.
So most dealers don't do that, so that should help us draw some new techs in.
Yeah, if you're out there, don't share too much of that. Only a Red River Auto Group is going to do that. Okay, so everybody knows. 'Cause we're looking for good techs at Red River Auto Group, and we got a bonus program for you to help buy tools. And you brought that to my attention, how hard it was for techs to buy tools. So then I thought, man, let's try to build some kind of loyalty to that. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. And hopefully, one day we'll be able to change the pay. And like I said, if you could pay them a salary plus a small bonus,
right,
that would probably be more appealing.
Right.
They would be able to operate a little better. They'd be able to budget better for vacations or whatever instead of, and it would also keep them. I mean, you see this in this industry where technicians lying. Right. I had I'd take at one of my stores that at one time I caught him doing recalls. There's a little recall over the headliner, which as well as I do, a lot of recalls are just stupid.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. If you're getting paid to do a stupid thing, do it. Well, this guy wasn't. He was throwing the parts in the trash, claiming he did the recall. And it took a bad incident for me to find out what he was doing. Of course, now he's fired, but he was trying to beat that clock.
Right.
Is what he was trying to do. And
the manufacturer set it up to be that way, in my opinion, because if they say, hey, we're going to pay you 6/10 to do this job, it takes you an hour. Well, people want to make a check for the week.
Yeah.
They don't want to go in the hole.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a firm believer if you say you did it, you need to do it.
Yeah.
We get cars in every week from other places that were, we had that torque converter incident.
Mm-hmm.
A guy said he put a torque converter in. We diagnosed it, and he never did. And it didn't have a torque converter. So,
right.
You got to stand behind what you do. So, that's another problem in the industry. You got to gain the customer's trust, and really stand behind what you do.
Something else that I can't remember who it was, is a Ford Explorer that we had in our shop the other day, and we were going to fix it. Whatever we were doing, $1,700. A friend of mine called and said, "Hey, the guy down the road is going to be able to do it for $1,300." And I said, "Well, make sure you check with our shop. I know the guy down the road's using aftermarket parts. We can do that too. We just don't start off with that. Why do we not start off with that?"
The quality of the parts, are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, the people just think OE parts are more expensive. And I'd say 90% of the time, OE parts are not more expensive than aftermarket. Most of the time, they're the same price or cheaper. But the quality you get and the warranty you get's by far better. So, and when we give an estimate, and the customer might not know exactly everything we're doing, and they call somebody else and say, "Oh, I just need this done."
Right.
It's going to be cheaper, and they won't be getting the exact same job done. So you need to research that before you just call somebody and say, "Hey, they're going to do it for this," and you call and say, "I want to do it for this." It might not be the exact same job.
Yeah, so that's why I told that young lady to make sure she researched it, and she did, and she came back to us to do the work. So we were doing a little extra things, plus our parts had a warranty on them if they broke. Also covered labor. I think your aftermarket parts won't cover the labor.
No.
So
and if we put a part on at the shop, and it's aftermarket, say from whoever, and it fails, I have to fight to get my tech paid again. Where if it's an OE part, I get him paid.
Yeah. Well, you can't get your tech paid again. It had to be the customer would have to pay it again, right?
Yeah, you would think, but
because the
customers don't understand. Right. You just put this part on. It's an aftermarket part, but you just put it on, so you're going to stand behind it.
Yeah.
So we have to fight with the aftermarket companies to try and get some labor, and they used to have a standardized rate of we pay this much money for that part to put on.
Yeah, right. Oh, something else that I plan on getting, trying to get with the Attorney General on this. A lady came in the other day, and you were probably not aware of it, but she needed tires and brakes, came in and get her oil change. I happened to be working there on a Monday morning. And she had 3 service contracts she was buying. It's an older lady.
She had 3 service
She was paying on 3 different service contracts, $150 a month per service contract. And she said, "Well, I got something out there that'll pay for my tires and brakes." I said, "Ma'am, probably not, but I'll look at it with you." And of course it wasn't. All it would pay for was mechanicals. But she's sitting there at home, she's on retirement, fixed income, and these people are calling her and selling her over the phone. This is why I think car dealers have been given such a bad rep. People like her are scared to come in.
Right.
But they need to, our Congress, our local Senate, our Attorney General needs to start pushing trust back into the car industry. Because if she'd have come in our store, we'd have made sure she didn't, and none of them were very good products at all, but she was paying for 3 when she only needed 1.
And she probably got all those over the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're out there and you're looking for a warranty or you want to buy something like that, go to your local dealer and buy something face-to-face. That way you got a person to put behind it and somebody to stand behind the product.
Yeah, find the dealer
because
that
we
you're
deal
in
with some of
business
those aftermarket warranties like you see on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't pay for anything. We just had that diesel truck towed in from Indiana and needs a motor. The aftermarket warranty denied his motor because he has oversized tires.
Yeah, has nothing to do with
Tires have nothing to do with the engine failure.
Yeah.
But they sent a photo of the tires and they denied a claim on the tires.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was one of the warranty companies you see advertised on TV.
He bought it from one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true. If they're selling you something without telling you to go have your car checked out first, think of the people that are buying it with a bad transmission. It's too good to be true. They're making millions and millions of dollars off famous people being on TV.
And the best thing for me, and I've got hundreds of customers out there. If you're build a relationship with your technician, if you're a consumer, because most dealers will let you talk to the tech. And if you come in enough times, they get to know you. Build a relationship with your tech. Talk to your tech if you need to. If the service writer's not getting the right information to the tech, talk to the tech. Go ride with the tech. Build your relationship with the tech, and you'll get better service with your service.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that is
goes a long
true.
ways.
Yeah, that hurts. People say, hey, I'm having this problem. Then they go talk to a service advisor. I'm having this problem. Who talks to you, then goes talks to the tech. Sometimes
it gets lost in translation
Yeah.
sometimes. So, I mean, I got a bunch of customers that I'll just deal with. You know, they still come through the shop to see Jason or them, but the tech can still talk to the customer, ride with the customer, and, you know, narrow down the problems that they're having.
Sorry for the smack. Here, one more. So here's what's coming around the bend. You know, we got 2 trucks, Dodge and Ford, mobile service. They're pushing for it. Ford's pushing for it. Ram's pushing for it. Toyota's pushing for it, but they don't want you to change oil out there.
I didn't know Ram was doing it yet, but
Yeah,
that's good.
we got a mobile truck, so they're pushing for mobile service. What do you think of that?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, just got to find the right person to put in that truck, and I mean, it's a good way for us to take care of the customers.
Mm-hmm.
If you got 4 or 5 people at your office and need something done, make one day trip to your
Yeah,
office.
so that's going to be the hardest part, trying
Right.
to schedule and get that. So right now, Ford is paying us a little extra to get the process going, which I know it'll go away in a year. Ram is not paying us. So as for us, it's a loser, right? By the time I pay a guy.
I think Ford's doing it to kind of do what I was saying, build the trust back to the consumer with the dealer.
Yeah.
Maybe. We're trying to take care of you.
Mhm.
On the small problems, we can come to you.
I
The
hope-
big problems, you still got to come back to us.
I hope that's what, but I don't think they care
You don't
about the
think
dealer. No, I don't think they care about, I think they're trying to build trust with Ford. Ford's admitted they've kind of had a struggle in their product quality the last 2 years. So either way, I mean, I do think it's good. We've had great experience. People have bragged about it. You know, we're carrying all the computer stuff with us, but you still got the part problem. You have to go back and find parts.
Right. You can never carry enough parts on the van to fix all what you might run into.
Right. And then you just got to reschedule it. But I think coming down the road, it'll do okay as long as they keep paying us for what we do. Something we don't get paid for, like from Dodge, Ford does a little better at this, but you know, we have our own rollback. So these manufacturers are so firm on customer service. But for me to be able to go get somebody's car and haul it to my store, you know what I have to tell that customer? Call the 1-800 number.
Call Ford roadside.
Yeah. And I think Ford does it too. I mean, we have to bend a bunch of rules to try to get them to pay us. But yeah, they call the customer service center. Well, you call them, you sit on hold.
Right.
Then they say, hold on, let me get a wrecker. Then they go call and sit on hold with the wrecker. Okay, a wrecker will be reaching out to you soon. And then an hour later, wrecker service calls you. And we've already got it sitting at the dealership. And I didn't realize this. I've been using my rollback like crazy for Heber to go get a bunch of Jeep Wagoneers that have been breaking. But yeah, Wagoneers that have been breaking. But Wagoneers not been paying us for our rollback because we didn't call the customer service. I had an experience once with mine. I was actually sitting at the Ford store and it broke down. So I called customer service and sit on hold. But at the same time, I called my rollback. By the time I got off phone on hold with them, my rollback was already picking ours up. And then before the tow company called me to tell me he's coming to get ours, there's already people in the shop working on the Wagoneer.
That just goes back to what we first started talking about, the red tape that the dealerships have to go through with manufacturers to get paid, or not just get paid, but their process for anything. Like Ford's warranty parts over the counter is different than what we have to do in the service department.
Yeah, you were telling me that the other day.
You know, so why would the over-the-counter warranty be different than the service department's warranty?
Yeah.
You know, it's so different.
Explain that to me again. What's different? What does it happen?
Say you got a battery, for example. If we put a battery in a vehicle in the shop and it goes bad, we got to do all the tests on it, charge it for like 6 hours, print out a card saying it failed. Or if a customer, say you bought a battery over the counter and it goes bad, you just walk up to the counter and get a new one.
So you're better off telling the customer, go over there, buy the battery, then bring it to me. I'll put it on.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, we have shops in town that kind of abuse that, I think. So,
yeah,
you know, Ford, you know, they want to nail us down for every penny when they're letting all the aftermarket shops get away with stuff they shouldn't be getting away with as far as their parts warranty.
Ford Pro. Let's talk about that. Have you heard? We've talked a little bit about that Ford Pro program they're trying to start.
Oh yeah,
putting big facilities and
big trucks
to work on big trucks, and their goal is to diag immediately, bring them into diag immediately. That way you're not sitting around waiting on a diagnosis and then have a big shop. What do you see the hindrances in the pros on that?
It's a good thing, but anytime I hear somebody say diag immediately, I mean, it's not real world. Sometimes you can walk up to a car and say, yeah, this is what's wrong with it. But sometimes you walk up to a car and what you think is wrong with it, it ain't, and it's going to be a circuit with Ford's wiring that. It might be a pin fit issue, and it takes hours to find that stuff. So anytime I hear that, say, we'll diagnose it right now, it's not real world. I mean.
What about, and then you just talked about a pin issue. You may find that. How do you get paid on that?
They call it M time, but the red tape for that's like robbing a bank. I mean, you can't hardly get paid M time. Like if you got a 2020 Explorer, they have the worst wiring. If you got a loose connection in a pin and it takes you 6 hours to find it, you better have all your red tape and everything in line or you won't get paid. So you got a tech that might work 4 or 5 hours for free.
So you got to write down which wire I looked at.
You got to write down everything
on this wire out to that. Well, you're laying under the car, working under the car. You don't have time to go back and take notes on everything you're doing. So then by that point, you're going back to your ticket. Hey, I finally fix it. And I'm really just trying to make up what I did because I can't. Who has time to record every reading? I'm just trying to find the one that's broke. Right.
Well, the tech gets, that kind of tech is going to get dialed in, chasing that concern, and he's not going to stop until he finds it.
Right.
So he's, like you said, he's not going to stop and say, well, I did this. And, when you get done with the repairs, you got to go back and go through the chart and the wiring diagram and say what you did. But if you miss a step or do anything wrong in your story, you won't get paid.
And I can see Ford's reason for that because let's take, for instance, our guy may have spent 6 hours on one and figured it out. Well, the next time he comes in, he knows exactly what that, and he goes straight to it and fixes it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the prime example of that was your Lightning that you bought.
Yeah.
You had a brand new Lightning come off the truck, it wouldn't run. And it took us 8 hours, and there was a little bitty wire pinched behind the dash, and we didn't get paid for that.
Right. And we never did get paid for it?
Not the full amount.
Wow. Yeah. Had to take the whole dash apart.
Yep.
To get to it.
On a brand new truck from the factory.
Yeah. And so then they wonder why techs cheat them sometimes.
Right.
So you're going to cheat them, they can try to cheat you back, right?
So, I mean, it puts a tech in a bad spot because the technician, all he wants to do is take care of his family, make money, take care of the family. And a tech's goal every day is to figure out how he's going to do that every day. And it should be fixing cars.
Right. If you're talking to a young guy right now in high school, didn't know what he wanted to do. Do I want to go to college? I love to work on cars. What would your advice be for him or girl?
The technician world it's super. It's been really good to me. You can make a lot of money in it. It's a big, big investment, but if you have it, I mean, it's a good career.
Yeah.
But the price of tools is getting so out of reach. I mean, used to a good torque wrench would be $500-600. Now they're $1,000-1,200. So I mean,
would you suggest that tech going to Votech or going to try to find a good dealership to work in?
I did the Votech route, and then a dealership actually bought me out of my scholarship, and the dealership route is better. Okay. We got a couple of kids that went in as oil change rack, worked them way up, and now they're line techs doing really well. Yeah. So I think the dealership route is better. And
instead of paying for your education, you're getting paid to get educated.
Right.
Yeah, you may get paid
Ford's
less.
education is, in my opinion, better than Votech, and then anything hands-on is better than Votech.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I say too. Well, Tracy, thank you. Hopefully our dream together is to maybe change the pay scale of technicians in the future. Yep. And we just have to be firm on fire them. If they're on a salary, we just have to get them. They have to be fired if they're milking the clock, right?
Yeah.
That's how we'd have to do that. Thank you, Tracy, for your time.
Sir.
I hope you win your fishing tournament. Where's it at again?
It's on the river at Dumas.
Do you do any social media with it or anything?
Every now and then we do some videos, but not.
You don't have any YouTubes or nothing like that?
No.
We need to work on that.
Yeah.
Need to get on that. But thank you so much for your time, and we We know you have a busy schedule and got a lot going on. Thanks for taking the time to come talk.
Yep. Appreciate it.